I shouldn't have replied to her message. It came in on a Tuesday night, nothing special. I was sitting on the couch, half watching a show I didn't care about, my wife already asleep upstairs. My phone buzzed once. A name I hadn't seen in over 20 years. Emily Carter. For a second, I thought it was a scam, or maybe someone with the same name. But then I saw the profile picture. Older, yes, softer around the eyes. But it was her, my first love. My chest tightened in a way I hadn't felt since I was 17. The message was simple. Hey, I don't know if this is weird, but I think I found you. I stared at it for a long time. Too long. Because I already knew the answer. I knew exactly who it was. And I knew exactly what this could do. I shouldn't have replied. But I did. Emily? 3 dots appeared almost instantly. And just like that, everything I had buried for 23 years started to move again. We were kids when we met. High school. Small town. The kind of place where everyone knows your business before you do. She was new. Transfer student. Quiet at first. But when she laughed, it filled a room. I was the opposite. Loud. Confident. Or at least pretending to be. We collided in a way that felt inevitable. First it was jokes in class. Then walking her home. Then late-night phone calls that lasted until sunrise. And then, everything. She was my first real everything. The kind of love that feels like it rewires your brain. We had plans, big ones. Escape the town, move somewhere bigger, start something new. But life doesn't care about plans. Her dad got sick. They moved away. And just like that, she was gone. No goodbye worth remembering. No closure. Just silence. I tried to move on. I did. College, jobs, relationships. Eventually, I met my wife. She's good, kind, stable. The kind of person you build a life with. And we did. House, routine, shared calendars, quiet dinners. It wasn't fireworks, but it was safe. And safe is supposed to be enough, right? Emily replied again. I can't believe this is really you. Neither could I. We started slow, careful, like stepping onto thin ice. How have you been? Where are you now? Do you ever think about back then? That last question lingered. I hesitated before answering. Sometimes. That was a lie. I thought about her more than I ever admitted, just buried it deep enough to ignore. She sent a laughing emoji. Me too, more than I should. Something about that line felt dangerous, like opening a door you promised yourself would stay closed. At first it was harmless, catching up, sharing old memories, filling in the missing years. She got married too. 2 kids, a house that looked a lot like mine. Different city, same life. That should have made it easier. It didn't, because now there was this strange, quiet realization. We had both ended up exactly where we were supposed to be, but somehow not where we thought we would. And that's when things started to feel off. Because one night, about a week after we started talking again, she sent me something I wasn't expecting. A photo. Not recent. Old. Really old. Us. 17. Sitting on the hood of my car. Laughing at something I can't even remember. I didn't even know that photo still existed. My stomach dropped. How do you still have this? I asked. There was a pause. Longer than usual. Then she replied, I never threw anything away. And for the first time since we reconnected, I felt something I couldn't explain. Not just nostalgia, not just curiosity, something heavier. Because I realized I hadn't thrown everything away either. I told myself it was just memory. Just two people reconnecting after a long time. That's all. But then the messages changed. Subtly at first. She started texting earlier in the day, then later at night, then whenever she could. And I noticed something strange. She never texted when her husband was around. I didn't ask. I didn't need to. I was doing the exact same thing. There's a moment when something crosses a line. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly. Like a step you don't realize you've taken until you try to step back. For us, it was a voice message. She sent it late one night. I didn't think your voice would still sound the same. I replayed it more times than I should have. There was something in her tone. Soft, familiar, dangerous. So I sent one back. And just like that, texting wasn't enough anymore. We started talking, really talking, about everything we never got to finish. What could have been, what should have been, what we lost, and slowly, what we still felt. The first strange thing happened 2 weeks in. She mentioned something, a place. The lake behind your old house, do you remember? I froze. I hadn't mentioned that lake, not once. It wasn't even a big deal place, just somewhere we used to go when we wanted to be alone. How do you remember that? I asked. She laughed it off. Of course I remember. We spent half our time there. That was true, but something about it felt sharper than memory, too precise. Still, I let it go. I wanted to let it go. By week 3, we were talking every day, and I started lying. Small things at first. I'm working late. I've got a call. I'm just tired. My wife noticed. Of course she did. You've been distant, she said one night. I brushed it off, but I could feel it. The shift. Like I was slowly stepping out of one life and into another. A life that didn't exist anymore. Or maybe never did. Then came the first real moment. The one that changed everything. She asked to meet. Not directly, not at first. What if we saw each other again, she said. Just like that. Simple words, but they hit like a shockwave. I didn't answer right away, because this wasn't just a message anymore. This was real. This was a choice. I don't know if that's a good idea, I said. Another pause. Then, yeah, you're probably right. But something in her tone told me she didn't mean that, and neither did I. The next day, she sent me an address. No explanation, just a location. I stared at it, my heart pounding harder than it should. It took me a few seconds to recognize it, and when I did, my chest tightened. It was the lake. The same one. The exact spot where that photo was taken. How did you find this? I asked. Her reply came instantly. I never forgot. And that's when the feeling came back, stronger this time, because I realized something that didn't make sense. That place wasn't on any map. Not really. You had to know how to get there. You had to have been there. Or someone had to show you. And I never remembered telling her exactly how to find it. I didn't go. Not at first. I told myself it was insane. 2 married people, meeting in secret, at a place tied to something we never let go of. Nothing good comes from that. So I ignored the message, for a full day, then 2. But she didn't push, didn't double text, didn't ask. And somehow, that made it worse. Because now it felt like the decision was entirely mine. On the 3rd day, I drove there. I told my wife I had work. She barely questioned it. And that somehow hurt more, because it meant she trusted me, completely. and I was about to break that. The road hadn't changed. Same narrow turns, same trees lining both sides. It felt like driving into a memory, or maybe into something I never really left. When I got there, I almost turned around. I should have. I know that now. But I didn't. I parked, got out, and walked toward the lake, each step heavier than the last. She was already there, standing by the water, back turned. For a moment, I just stood there, watching, trying to connect the person in front of me with the girl I remembered. Then she turned, and everything hit at once. It was her. Older, yes, but her. Same eyes, same way she tilted her head slightly when she looked at me, like she was trying to read something deeper. "Hey," she said. Just that. And suddenly, 23 years disappeared. We didn't hug right away, didn't run to each other. It was quieter than that, more careful, like we both knew how fragile this moment was. "You look," I started. She smiled. "Different?" I shook my head. "No, just real." She laughed softly. I was thinking the same thing. We talked. At first, it was light, safe topics, kids, jobs, life. But it didn't take long for the real things to surface. They always do. "Are you happy?" she asked. The question landed harder than anything else she'd said, because I didn't have a simple answer. "I think so," I said. She nodded slowly. "That's not the same as yes." I didn't respond, because she was right. Then she said something I wasn't ready for. "I used to think about this moment all the time." I looked at her. "What moment?" She stepped closer. "This one, seeing you again, wondering what it would feel like." My chest tightened. "And?" She held my gaze. "It feels exactly like I remember." And that's when the line disappeared. Not crossed, not blurred. Gone. Because I didn't step back. I didn't stop it. I didn't say what I should have said. Instead, I kissed her. And for a second, everything made sense. Like the years in between were just noise. Like this was always supposed to happen. But then she pulled away. Not suddenly, not dramatically, just enough. And when I looked at her face, something was wrong. Her expression had changed. Not regret, not guilt. Something else. Something colder. "You came," she said quietly. I frowned. Of course I did. She studied me for a moment, then asked, "Even though you don't remember everything?" My stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" She didn't answer right away, just looked past me, toward the trees, then back at me, and said, "You really don't remember what happened here, do you?" And that's when I realized this wasn't just about us reconnecting. There was something else, something I had forgotten, or maybe something I was never supposed to remember at all. I laughed, not because it was funny, because I didn't understand. "What are you talking about?" I asked. She didn't smile, didn't soften, just watched me, like she was waiting for something to click. "It was the last night," she said quietly. My chest tightened. "The night before I left." I shook my head. "I remember that. We said goodbye." Her expression didn't change. "No," she said. "We didn't." Something about the way she said it made my skin crawl. "What do you mean we didn't?" She stepped closer, too close. You left before I woke up. I frowned. That's not... But the words died in my throat, because suddenly, I wasn't sure. The memory felt incomplete, like a scene missing pieces. I waited for you, she continued. I stayed here all night because you said you'd come back. My heartbeat started to rise. I don't remember saying that. She tilted her head. That's the problem. I took a step back. Emily, what are you saying? She didn't answer directly. Instead, she looked out at the lake. The water was still, too still. I came here because I needed to know, she said, whether you'd come back again. A chill ran down my spine. I don't understand. She turned to me, eyes sharper now. You always said you would. The air felt heavier, like something pressing down around us. I was 17, I said. We were kids. We said a lot of things. She nodded slowly. Yes, but some things matter. Then she said something that didn't make sense. You remember the storm, right? I blinked. What storm? She stared at me, long, unblinking. There wasn't a storm, I said. Her lips parted slightly, and for the first time, she looked confused. No, she whispered. There was. The wind picked up slightly, just enough to ripple the surface of the water. I felt something shift inside me, like a memory trying to break through. But it wouldn't. Not fully. Just fragments. Rain, darkness, her voice, calling my name. I shook my head. This isn't right. She stepped back, breathing slower now, like she was trying to calm herself. Then why does it feel so real? She asked. I didn't have an answer, because part of me was starting to feel it too. Then she said something that made everything worse. I've been dreaming about it. My stomach dropped. About what? She hesitated. Then, that night, the air went cold. And in the dream, she continued slowly, you don't leave. I swallowed. What happens? She looked at me, and for the first time since I arrived, I saw fear in her eyes. You fall. Silence, the kind that feels too loud. What? I said. She shook her head slightly. Into the water. My chest tightened. That's not possible. I know, she said quickly. That's why I needed to see you, to know if it was just a dream. I took another step back, my mind racing now. This is crazy. Is it? She asked. Her voice was softer again. But you don't remember that night clearly, do you? I didn't answer, because she was right. I didn't, and that terrified me. Then she said, I think something happened here. And deep down, I knew she was right. I just didn't know what, or why I couldn't remember it. I tried to leave. I really did. This is too much, I said. We shouldn't have met. I turned toward my car, but I didn't get far, because she said one word. My name. Not loudly, not urgently, just softly. And it stopped me. Please, she said. Just stay for a minute. I closed my eyes, took a breath, then turned back. Mistake number 2. She walked toward the edge of the lake, slow, careful, like she was following something only she could see. I used to come back here, she said, even after we moved. I frowned. How? You said your family left the state. She nodded. They did. Then how? I drove. My stomach tightened. That's hours away. I know. There was something off about the way she said it. Too casual, like distance didn't matter, like time didn't matter. Why would you do that? I asked. She didn't look at me. Because I felt like something was unfinished. The word hung in the air, unfinished. It echoed in a way that made my chest tighten. I thought if I came back, she continued, I'd remember what really happened. I stepped closer. What do you mean, really happened? She finally turned, and her expression, it wasn't just fear anymore. It was certainty. Because every time I think about that night, she said, it changes. A cold wave ran through me. Changes how? She hesitated. Then, sometimes you leave. I swallowed. And sometimes you don't. Silence, heavy, uncomfortable. Emily, that doesn't make sense. I know, she whispered, but it feels real every time. The wind picked up again, stronger now, the trees rustling behind us, the water shifting. And suddenly, that fragment came back, stronger this time. Rain hitting the surface, her voice, closer, louder. I grabbed my head. Wait. She stepped toward me. What is it? I see something. My heart started racing. It's dark. We're here. You're yelling. She grabbed my arm. What am I saying? I tried to focus, but the memory kept slipping, like trying to hold on to water. I can't hear it, I said. Just your voice. She stared at me, desperate now. Try. I closed my eyes, pushed harder, and then a flash. Her face. Tears. You promised you wouldn't leave me. My eyes snapped open. That's what you said, I whispered. Her grip tightened. Yes, she breathed. Yes, I remember that too. My chest tightened. What happened next? She shook her head. I don't know. And that was the problem. Neither of us did. Then the water moved. Not like before, not from the wind. Something else, something deeper. I froze. Did you see that? I asked. She didn't answer, because she was already staring at it, the center of the lake, where the surface rippled outward, slowly, like something had just disturbed it, something big. And for the first time, I felt it. Not memory, not confusion, fear. Because whatever happened that night might not be over. We stood there, frozen, watching the water, waiting for something, anything. But the ripples faded, and the lake went still again. Too still, like nothing had happened. But we both saw it. Did something fall in? I asked. She shook her head slowly. No. Her voice was barely above a whisper. That's not what it looked like. I didn't want to agree, but I couldn't deny it either. It didn't look like something going in. It looked like something moving underneath. I stepped back. This is getting weird. She didn't move, didn't look away. It's always like this, she said. My chest tightened. What do you mean, always? She finally turned to me, eyes wide now. Every time I come here. A cold silence followed. You've seen that before? I asked. She nodded. Not every time, but enough. My pulse started to rise. And you still keep coming back? She didn't answer right away. Then, I thought it was part of the memory. That didn't make sense. None of this did. Emily, listen to yourself. I know how it sounds, she said quickly, but you're feeling it too, aren't you? I hesitated, because I was. Something wasn't right. Not just with the lake, with everything. The missing memory, the changing story, the way it all kept pulling us back here. Then she said something that made my stomach drop. I think something happened to you. I stared at her. What? That night, she said. I think you didn't leave. My chest tightened. I'm standing right here. I know, she whispered, but maybe not the first time. Silence. Thick, heavy, impossible. That doesn't make any sense, I said. None of this does, she replied, but it feels real. I shook my head. No, this is just memory messing with us. Nostalgia, that's all. She didn't argue, didn't push, just looked at me and said, then why can't you remember how we said goodbye? I didn't have an answer, because I couldn't, and that was the worst part. The wind died down, the lake went completely still, and for a moment, everything felt quiet again. Too quiet, like something waiting. Then my phone buzzed. I flinched, looked down. A message from my wife. Are you coming home soon? Normal, simple, real. I stared at it, then back at Emily. 2 lives, 2 choices, 1 moment. I should go, I said. She nodded, slowly, like she expected it. But before I could turn, she said one last thing. If you leave now, I stopped. Will you remember this time? I didn't answer, because I didn't know. And that terrified me more than anything else. So I left. I got in my car, drove away, didn't look back, not once, because I was afraid of what I might see, or worse, what I might remember. But when I got home, something was wrong, because my wife was standing in the doorway, looking at me. Not angry, not confused, just pale. You said you were working, she said. I was, I replied quickly. But she didn't respond, just held up her phone. My stomach dropped. A photo, blurry, dark, taken from a distance, of me, standing by the lake, alone. No Emily, no one else, just me. And the message under it. Who were you talking to?